Statesboro City Council meeting. Can I please ask Mayor Pro Tem Wilbert to lead us in our invocation and pledge of allegiance?
Absolutely. I want to make sure my phone's off, so we didn't normally say that. So if anyone, let's turn our cell phones off. Kind of say that out loud to myself. Please bow with me. Gentlemen, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for the opportunities you presented to Statesboro and Door County, and we just really appreciate the opportunities that we do have, and hopefully we take advantage of those. And please put your wisdom into this council so we make the right decisions moving forward for the children of our town. Please be with the safety workers, public safety, and all of our men and women abroad. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
If you would please rise with me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start with agenda item 3, recognitions and public presentations. Item A is recognizing the 100th anniversary of the Magnolia Missionary Baptist Church. Do we have anyone here from that particular church? Okay, I know that Francis Johnson asked us to do that, so I'm going to read just a little bit about the church in recognition of their church, their 100th anniversary. The Magnolia Missionary Baptist Church has a century-old history, springing up in 1914 as a few Christian families from the Magnolia Baptist Church in Lawrenceville, Georgia, relocated to this community and continuing through 14 pastors and many faithful and dedicated disciples of Jesus Christ, whose lives are testaments to the faith, sacrifice, and determination built in this nation. So let it be resolved by the Mayor and Council of the City of Statesboro that we pause in our deliberations today to recognize the Magnolia Missionary Baptist Church, led by the Reverend Dr. Francis Johnson, on their 100th anniversary, and proclaim May 18th, 2014 as Sweet Magnolia Day in the City of Statesboro, Georgia. Thank you, and we do recognize them for their 100th anniversary. We had a lot of phones getting turned off. Our next item is a proclamation that we're going to present to the City of Statesboro Public Works Division, recognizing the week of May 18th through 24th, 2014 as Public Works Week. You want to tell us about Public Works Week?
Sure. This is a 54th annual Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, whereas it used annually represent and recognize the men and women who work for public works and local organizations. I'd like to take this time to thank the men and women that work under me in public works. I think their hard work and dedication to the community is exemplified a few months ago during the ice storm. They do it on a daily basis. They work especially hard during the ice storm. And all came together and working with public safety and the county to make sure that all of our community was safe and everything was taken care of.
I'm going to read a brief part of this, that public work services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public work systems and programs such as solid waste collection, solid waste disposal, street maintenance, stormwater infrastructure maintenance, park maintenance, cemetery maintenance, and fleet maintenance. And whereas the health, safety, and quality of life of this community greatly depends on these services and facilities. Therefore, I, J&J Moore, Mayor of Statesboro, Georgia, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through May 24th, 2014 as Public Works Week in the City of Statesboro, and further extend appreciation to our Public Works personnel for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to this community. Thank you. Ms. Sue, do we have any public comments? Okay. I'm going to move to the consent agenda. I'll ask council to look over that briefly, and when they feel comfortable, for someone to please give a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passed. Item number 6 is consideration of a motion to set a date for a work session to discuss the changes to Chapter 6 alcohol of the city of Statesboro ordinances. I know we discussed when we deferred the work session last time due to the length of the meeting that we had, to move that to perhaps the first meeting in the month of June. I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on that. I'll just yield the floor.
The only thing I think is we don't have half as much on the agenda as we did last time.
Anything that can be put off to the next
Anything that can
meeting.
be taken care of the next meeting, I think we do that, and alcohol, I mean, I'm good with the next work session, again, first meeting.
And we can ask y'all to keep the meeting short as possible.
We can do that.
So do I have a motion to set alcohol work session for the next city council meeting?
So moved. Second.
Is that what we said?
To clarify for afterward. Yes, after.
Started that.
It says, did y'all want to go after? It's going to be the 9 o'clock meeting.
Well, we do it at 6, get out of the way, get out here by 9:30, have a quick count.
I'm all about getting up early.
That's the hint of sarcasm.
I don't think the bar owners will be here at that time. Oh, I'm sorry, restaurant owners. They won't be here.
I want to say so many things that I'm not. Okay, do we decide that, do I have a motion to set the work session for the next city council meeting after? Do I have a second? Okay.
The only discussion is, at this point, do we send out letters to them letting them know we're having this work session, to the alcohol licensees, or is that another meeting? Right, that's I'm just wondering if we're getting closer, or is this the first one, and we're gonna have another public one later? I think we've got time to have a public one in July or even August, if that's what you think. So is this one just kind of for us and anyone that would like to come, or are we gonna specifically ask them later for a discussion?
I think initially we said that this was just the first meeting and there would be a public hearing
That's
after
the
that.
first draft, we can make any
Right.
any additional.
I don't know that I necessarily put a letter out, but maybe the newspaper or various other media outlets will make sure that they know and invite them to come and listen. That way they're informed and can make their comments later in the public hearing.
Absolutely.
So you would like to put a notice in our legal organ?
Oh, no, he's gonna write it for free. We're not paying for it.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
Write it out back now.
Any more discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 7, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2014-07, a resolution to adopt the third amendment to fiscal year 2014 budget. Would you like to address that, Frank, or Cindy, come on up, please?
Ms. Cindy, I'll address it.
The third budget amendment for fiscal year 2014, and addresses some of the revenues and expenditures and decreases in different areas that we cannot do actual budget transfers within departments. We should have a summary of one.
Excuse me, ma'am, is the microphone on? We can't hear you.
Yes. This is the third budget amendment for fiscal year 2014. What it will do, will bring in line our revenues and expenditures in areas where we need changes that we cannot do just between line items, and we will have one more before the end of the fiscal year. If you have any questions.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion to adopt resolution 2014-07.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just a quick question to Robert. Robert, the increase in expenditure of ENG 40, is that the Gentile money that we moved over?
That's research, yeah. Research.
Where do we move that from again, do you remember?
The sidewalk, some of it moved from the sidewalk, project on Gentilly where we ran the budget.
Yeah. Right, no, but there's an increase in 231. Where'd the rest of that come from? Do you remember?
Savings from 3 projects that we had for SPOS dollars, one was a signal, one was over at Coach Southern reimburses for some resurfacing, the third one was, GDOT paid for some striping last year.
But the expenditure is going to repairs on Gentile, right?
Going to resurfacing in general, but primarily Gentilly.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, item number 8 is consideration of a motion to set the public hearing for the fiscal year 2015 budget for Thursday, June 5th, 2015 at 4 p.m. in the City Council chambers at City Hall.
According to state law, we're supposed to have a public hearing at least 1 week prior to adoption of the fiscal year budget. This will be 12 days, I believe, prior to that, and we will advertise it a week ahead of time as well, the actual public hearing. So the public hearing will be advertised a week before it, and then we'll have a public hearing over a week before the adoption of the second meeting in June.
Okay. Any questions? Do I have a motion to set the public hearing for the fiscal year 2015 budget for Thursday, June 5th?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time that Alvin explained number 9 to me. And so I just want to hear if he can do that same synopsis again. This is a consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2014-08, which is a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Statesboro, Georgia, to authorize the execution of an ISDA credit support annex, a JP Morgan March 2013 bilateral Dodd-Frank agreement.
Well, basically, I spent a lot of time on the phone yesterday with Jim Cannell. He's the bond attorney who negotiated these agreements with Georgia Municipal Association. Once they're back. This has to do with the lease pool agreement where we can lease and purchase equipment. Essentially, we have to execute. We're in this plan. We're in this deal. We've got money in it. It's basically a trust. People who would best have money to keep our interest rates low. Their credit rating dropped, and because of that, they have to collateralize that money, a substantial amount of money, to protect us. This is good for us. And these agreements allow our plan to come into compliance with God. We need to do this. And so explain it. How much further you want me to go into?
That would make this document to provide additional protections to the city.
That's good. That's a good.
Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2014-08?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
Alvin has read it, Alvin believes in it. We'll go there.
I thought you turned 56 pages into a very succinct explanation. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10 is a consideration of a motion to approve award of contract to Statesboro Inc. for the resurfacing of several city streets. I'm going to ask Darren to please come forward.
This is for the city of Statesboro street resurfacing for fiscal year 2014. We bid out this per the state regulations and local ordinance. Basically, street projects that are $20,000 and above take on many of the characteristics of public works requirements at $100,000 and above, so advertising, bonding, all that come into play. We sent to several contractors, had 2 responses. I would like to say final bid amounts are a product of unit pricing. Bids are put out by requested units, extended, and comes to a grand total. We check this for accuracy. Traditionally, it's a unit-driven contract, so we make adjustments to any calculations for an error. But after this fact, we recommend the award be to Statesboro in the amount of $667,403.20. We also would ask, we had budgeted for this whole project. The full amount was $673,845.95. We would extend unit pricing up to this amount on other projects. We could add to the listing that we're in the package. So this including we would ask Statesboro to award the amount of $667,403.20 and to award an up to amount extend unit pricing for additional projects for the full budget. And we like to have local preference do not come in because this is a state road project and all the requirements. This is a road work project. We can't apply local preference to this type of project.
Tell me again, why would we approve the budget amount instead of the bid amount?
Well, because I think we have additional projects in need, and the additional was about $6,000.
Right.
We can take that unit price, if it's a unit pricing driven contract, and maybe add another portion of the street for this current year. I think that's probably way behind.
So you just go, I mean, it's only $6,000, I'm just thinking, we're 1%.
Yeah, more than,
Maybe 10 more feet?
more than likely it's going to be used on gentility.
Okay.
We're going to get in there and probably find some things, so we like to get that additional money, so we don't have to go back to you. And for it.
The contractor will not pay an additional amount, but they'll give us additional units. So
You don't have any other questions from council?
Didn't they make the issue for that one year road?
This is a combination of.
You said it out loud.
It is a combination.
Put it on the record.
It's a combination of SPLOST dollars and some of the funding that you shifted around, and then roughly $200,000 of this is from GDOT, from the LMIG program.
It's the biggest red line.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the award of contract to Statesboro Inc. for the resurfacing of several city streets not to exceed $673,845.95?
Motion to award the contract to Statesboro Inc.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We move to agenda item number 11, which is a consideration of a motion to award a contract to retrofit an existing refuse truck with an import system to consolidated disposal in the amount of $48,387. Mr. Franklin.
again, we advertise per ordinance. The vendors, as you see, the lowest bid was $48,387 for consolidated disposal. This is used on a retrofit existing truck, that waste system. Their net submitted bid includes them keeping the old body. That's a net amount. We recommend the award be consolidated disposal in the amount of $48,387.
So all the bids have the same, all the bids, the way it reads, all the bids got to buy the truck and keep the old body.
They keep the old body, they're responsible anything that outfit, work properly, good rush turnkey property.
Because the bids are just kind of all over the place. It's kind of surprising that some of them are a little high. Okay. Right.
Any other discussion? Any other questions?
And this is to sort of roll off container for delivery and pickup, et cetera. Any enterprise?
Do I have a motion to award the contract to Consolidated Disposal in the amount of $48,387?
So moved.
Second? Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12. Oh, it's Darren again.
Surprise.
Busy week. Consideration of a motion to award a contract to paint the exterior of City Hall to Drummer and the Drummer Building to Milton, painting in the amount of $38,300.
As well, this was advertised, sent to several local businesses as well, contractors. This is to paint, I think the last time it was painted was 2002. It's to paint in existing colors and trim and caulk both the City Hall and the Drummer Building. We recommend the award be made to Melton Painting in the amount of $38,300. There is a requirement that they work around the drive-through service so no public access to pay bills to be halted. We will clear away the brush or the shrubs on the side, clean paint, and they're responsible for equipment and the public and access during the day as well. So they will not be impeded in any way.
When did you say this is going to begin there?
We'll begin within this month.
Okay, and how long will it take them to do it?
We will in June. It takes a while.
Okay. Any questions from the council?
Chip one time said he thought this was going to be 10 years, and so I guess we're clearly pleased this is a 12-year deal. Is that right, Robert? Do you remember? I think I remember asking one time, and they said about every 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. We actually had it in the budget for the last couple of years, and we just kept bumping it back.
Okay.
And we went to the end of this fiscal year to make sure we were good with it.
Yeah, looking a little shaggy in the front.
Yeah, we can start to get some rot around the windows.
And they have provided insurance over the rest of it. And that's good.
As you start to paint and do stuff like that, a lot of times you said rot, so we get into some stuff. What kind of contingency does someone like this have?
There's a certain amount in there, but there's not a lot of contingency. It's only what we identified out there. So if we get into something that wasn't clearly identified, there could be additional costs. But we feel like the deal was really good at the low bid.
When you win by a look at that, or do you know the company?
And this is actually the company that did it before.
And we did send this out to approximately, I think, 8 or 9 contractors. So kind of a specialized area.
Sure. Any other questions from the council? Do I have a motion to award the painting contract to Melton Painting, the amount of $38,300?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There. Item number 13, a motion to award the purchase of an F-350 cabin chassis from Wave Ford in the amount of $54,592.
This obviously be for our F-350 work equivalent. We send it out to all local dealers as well as several out-of-town dealers that participate on a regular basis. It says F-350 pre-cab chassis will have a landscape body at a later date for the street division. It replaces a 2001 model. We recommend the lowest bid what we made the way for in the amount of $24,592. The 3% local preference would come into play, but after you apply that, it's way for still lowest. At the same time, if council would approve, we would like to put the 2001 model on the surplus to be auctioned up I included the VIN number of that unit in the packet. But again, we're taking away for it, $24,592.
Okay, do I have a motion to award the purchase of an F-350 cab and chassis from Wade Ford in the amount of $24,592 and to surplus an existing 2001 cab and chassis truck?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, this is the damn Prather show. Consideration of a motion, were you on like vacation for a month or so? Or? Consideration of a motion to appoint a voting, consideration of a motion to award the purchase contract of refuse containers to Lewis Steel in the amount of $106,500.
We asked the company to submit based on 30 units, 30 yard size containers, and that's what the bid assessment was made on. We also asked them to bid an optional 20 and 40 yard unit size just for niche applications, but those submitted prices are in the comparison process. It's only 30 yard size containers. We recommend that the award be made to Lewis Steel, who bid $3,550 per container for a total amount of $106,500.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. You may sit down. Item number 15 is a consideration of a motion to appoint a voting delegate for the 2014 GMA Annual Convention in Savannah.
I make a motion we appoint Mayor Jan Moore.
Absolutely.
Second.
Any discussion? I think I do have a little discussion. Are y'all even going? Okay, all in favor?
This is an honor for every resident.
Now, could I ask a question? Is this also, someone needs to get a flag?
I would also like to nominate Mayor Jan Moore. I will second that.
Was that good? We can just amend the motion, can't we?
So amended.
So amended.
I'd like to amend my motion to appoint Dan Moore to be our voting delegate and our flag carrier.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yes, wear comfortable shoes. You've been hanging around for a while. Yeah. No, don't wear the 4-inch heel.
Oh, goodness. It is Sunday afternoon at 3:30. Great. Okay. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're to the point of other business from City Council. I know I have one item that we need to bring up, so does anybody else have an item?
Just the, notice to the mayor and council that we received the 2014 mid-10-year five-year update on the associated strategy for both counties. We will provide copies to council members in case we have any input.
Is there a deadline for that to be approved by us?
My understanding at this point, no, we will verify that. Okay. So we'll hold council next council. That's all there.
Okay, one of the items, and I'm going to just briefly introduce it, and I'm going to turn to our city engineer, Robert Cheshire, who actually attends these meetings on a regular basis, but it regards a building that's currently being used by the Georgia State Defense Force, which is an unpaid defense force in conjunction with the Georgia National Guard, etc. They have to have a water meter, a City of Statesboro water meter attached to its building. And so, having said that, I'm going to give it to you, Robert, to present what they're asking for.
This is a building that's located at the airport, which the city and county own jointly. And this particular group, the Georgia State Defense Force, has asked the airport committee, which in turn will make the recommendation to the county commissioners, because they operate the airport, to utilize that building. It's the building to the left of the Armory. There on 301, you're looking at the National Guard building, it's to the left. They'll ask to use it rent-free. However, they have a water meter there, and they have a need pool water. They meet there similar to National Guard once a month, primarily unless there's a disaster of some type, and they're calling in, and they have asked to have that meter, to get the water free, have the water usage free. So that
Do you
came
know
up.
what it's been running? How much?
It hasn't been used for a while because they haven't been utilizing the building for the last year or two. So I did not get a prior reading, but they have evidently gone in and renovated the bathrooms.
I'd like to address that too. This part to me, it appears a gratuity from the city, and I'm not sure legally we can do that. We need to address that issue before we do that. Because anything that's not a contract for service, we can't give taxpayer money for. This would necessarily that.
Do you concur?
Is it a governmental entity? What is it?
Mayor has the cards.
Apparently, a lot of what they do is they're employed to do search and rescue when somebody disappears. They're unpaid, they're volunteers. But like I said, they work in conjunction. Is this not right, Robert, with the Georgia National Guard? I mean, I don't...
It's hard for me to, I'm not sure I understand completely out. It's, the Adjutant General of Georgia.
Sure.
Can call them up.
I can look into it for those of you managing that.
That would be good, because we had a long presentation, but we didn't really come away with clarification.
It's the airport, it's the joint city.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
So you can check into that and bring it back up next council.
And I'd like to also mention in passing, there's a lot of other property adjacent that's not being used by the, under service delivery, House Bill 49, we've actually negotiated to turn over the rent at the airport to the county, but all the property is jointly owned by the city and the county, so all the other property, really, any decision needs to be made towards the city and the county. Is something we, Alvin needs to look into as well. This other tracts property out adjacent to the airport.
Okay, so we'll bring that back up next meeting. Do we have any other business from city council? Okay, we'll enter into item 17, which is our public comment section. We have a couple of folks that are asking to make a public comment, so we're going to go to item A and see if Mrs. Alberta Beal is here this evening.
Alberta Beal, my husband George Beal, who is living 327 Donaldson Street. We moved here about 2 years ago, and I see some new faces. About the pool that was down at Brandon Street, which is now the Midtown pool. It took us 5 years to take care of a problem there, the music. And we came to city council to get help. Finally, a PD officer, one night when we called, went to the back of the building and found that it was coming out the back of the building up to our house. Our house, you have to know, is on the hill. It inclines right at the railroad track. It goes down. We live so like that. But the problem was that it was coming out the back of the building up to our house, and it was enormous. And finally we got it resolved. That's normal. We're here today because of a problem we have at our house, right next door. That is the Compassion Church that has moved in at 410 Silver Avenue. Let me just say, my husband and I are 74 years old. He is a theology, he has a theology degree from Collegeville, Tennessee. We worked in the conference for 10 years. We know about churches. But this church has moved in, and Kennedy has rented it to them. But before the band and the church went there, they done the front of the building and the little place that they're meeting in. And his son,
Property is owned by Kennedy Concrete, Kennedy Reed and Mike Kennedy.
right, right, and they renovated the front and one part of the building. Well, Kennedy's son, Reed, has an 80 band. He moved in and was started playing there, practicing to go on wherever he plays. This was a problem. We called him several times, a lot of times, and told him it's too loud, it's too loud. Well, it was really enormous. Well, finally they put another band in there. And we called him about this several times.
Ma'am, you're not just talking about Sunday services, you're talking about them practicing
No, this band was just practicing.
weekdays.
Just to be clear, they're renting the property.
At the
Well,
time,
they have access to it anytime they want to. They're there on Sunday services. One week they were there for 6 days every night. One week they were there for 5 days every night, and any other time they weren't gone.
But at this particular time,
They are renting the property.
but this time that I'm talking about, they were not at the church. The church was not there then. The band, Reed was letting the band come in and play and have a little services there. It was not the church then. And we kept calling Reed about the noise. And this band, you have to know, is a rock band. I call it a rock band. Anyway, they started playing, and we found out later that the church was coming there. Now, this place does not have a parking place. It parks across the street, down the street, and down Stillwell Street at our house, on both sides of the street, which is a problem if the fire truck or ambulance has to go down that place. That road is not wide enough. It's on Sunday.
So they have parking, you're saying on Sundays you got a parking problem.
Well, they do.
Ma'am,
And then what days are they playing now?
Well, I'm getting to that. It's a process that I got to take. Anyway, they renovated it, they came in there and they put enormous amount of insulation in it. This is a warehouse that they're renting, a warehouse. They put insulation in it. I kept telling me it's not going to work. It didn't work. The first Sunday, they came and had service there. It was so loud, I went out my back gate, and I had to get almost as close to me as my husband to talk to a gentleman that it was too loud, the insulation didn't work, please turn it down. Well, that didn't work. This went on to first Sunday. The next Sunday, they came in there at 8 o'clock in the morning with this band.
The church band.
With the church band services at 8 o'clock in the morning.
well, it's a band, but it's some kind of sound system, you know. And these bands have these keyboard-like things with the sound system, and they have the bass and the rhythm.
Yes.
That's what this thing is, and it turns up so loud,
Well,
so you can't,
I went in, they started on 8 o'clock in the morning. I went over there and I told them, this is not right. You've got to turn it down. And the pastor comes out and says, oh, did I wake you up? Well, yes, you did. And I told him, just going to have to turn it down. Well, I went in this building when they were playing on a Thursday night practicing. Have you ever seen these big tubas? A little girl standing there with long hair, this guy starts blowing it, and her hair goes this way. Well, that's what my hair did when I opened the door. It was that way. No kidding. They have 4 speakers at the door. They have a guy standing up here in this built place that does put No. In the corner next to my house, in the corner, they have the stage with a steel guitar, another guitar, 3 guitars, and microphones, whatever, all the works. And this was been the problem all along. In this corner, right next to my house, is 30 feet away. Okay? I have talked to so many people about this. I talked to Mr. Parker. And he tells me that they can do anything they want to from 9 to 11 o'clock at night. He gave me some scenarios of people, what they do. And if I have a yard sale with a band, do I pay that, or do they come and tell me to turn it down? This is one thing you told me today. They can do anything they want to. I talked to, I called the big church in Savannah, the head church. I talked to Mr. McGee and told him about the problem. He said, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know we had a problem. He says, I'll take care of it. He promised me. 5 minutes later, the secretary calls and says, what's a meeting with me, the son, and the pastor. I asked her, I said, what is it about? Oh, they just want to talk. I said, what are you going to do about the music? Oh, unfortunately, we're not going to do anything about the music. Okay? We have talked to Tom Woodruff. We have talked to Kirkland. We have talked to several other people, all the officers. And Mr. Woodruff has come to my house and sit on my porch at 8 o'clock in the morning and hurt this fan.
Now, Mr. Woodruff is the only police officer that has come and stayed long enough to see the problem. The others would come over there, they wouldn't even go and talk to them, and we'd tell them, you know, we act like they didn't know what to do, you know, because it's a church, you know. So, Mr. Woodruff is the only one that we could get to stay long enough to see the problem.
But nothing was done. He
He called them, and when they turned it down, that one Sunday he was there, they turned it down a little bit, you know. But he could still hear it, and we could still hear it in the house. And they basically refused to turn it down. They said he wasn't going to, like they could do anything they wanted.
We have called PD, we have called PD. Let me just say that we respect the PD officers and the church department. They're underpaid, overworked, mentally challenged, physically every day. We love them. My son is a church, he works at the church department. Been there 20 some odd years. And we have called them and called them and called them. But the problem is now, we don't know when they're going to start playing. Wednesday night, Thursday afternoon, Friday, Saturday. And let me tell you, listen, we have called the PD to come to our house for the plaza at the college. This works in around what we're doing now. That we're...
You don't know how far it is from Johnson Street to the plaza at the college?
Yes, sir. I do, because I live in Woodlawn Terrace.
Can you imagine hearing a man singing out there and hearing him just as every word he's saying, you know?
We can, because we can hear it going on.
Police officers tell us he heard it when he left the city police department.
We are on our porch at 1:30 in the morning calling the PD to come and quieten it down. My puppies, I have to leave. Hours at the music, at the man talking. They can't stand the talking at night. The man is talking, we can hear every word. Lieutenant Farley and the captain Woodruff came to our house at 1:15 one Saturday night. And they could not believe what they heard. Standing there, they shaking their heads, they couldn't 1:30 in the morning. And here we were. Now,
They're saying that they go out there to pick my car to church, they can't hear.
but it's,
If they come to my house, they can hear it plain as day.
I certainly don't know about that, but let's talk about,
but I'm coming to it. This was 1:30 in the morning. Sunday morning.
What we're saying is we're up at 2 o'clock in the morning hearing that, and Sunday morning we start at 7 o'clock at the church.
7:30 Sunday morning, the band starts playing again. 7:30 in the morning. I get up and go out my back gate, and I call the PD to come over there, and let me tell you, I could hug that PD song. I could have hugged him. He came over there, and I told him what was going on. He didn't tell me anything. He said, no problem. No problem. He turns around and walks in there and hugs. That's the first time we had.
I wish I did.
I could have hugged his head. I was so stunned that he left. But this is the problem we're having. We're 74 years old. My husband works every day. Saturday is our Sabbath, right? So Saturday night. That's the reason we pray on Sunday. We don't get any rest. I have 5 decks on my backyard that I cannot enjoy on Sunday because they're loud music.
well, let's stop for a second, and I'm gonna ask, do we have the ordinance up?
Mr. Kirkland, supervisor, came over there and done it, and he went back and he said, no violation.
Well, Alvin, what does it say in addressing the ordinance for what the complaint is?
City say if they're engaged in a civic or religious celebration, the sound equipment which produces a sound not to exceed 90 decibels when measured at a distance of 50 feet from such equipment.
Alvin, you're not speaking to the microphone. Clerk said that I can't hear you.
50 feet of the equipment or 50 feet of the property line?
It says 50 feet of the equipment, but I would think if you took,
That doesn't even get you out of the building.
and you can only do that between 9 and 11, 9 a.m., after 9 a.m.
Why are we having them at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning starting?
Why are they saying?
Why did the church come to that particular property with a van like that?
Well, I mean, yes, Ms. Debbie, you know, that would be something to be resolved with the Kennedys, and, you know, I think it was...
No, the Kennedy has said that if we pursue this, he's gonna close up my back gate, and next time he's gonna put somebody worse in there. So, you know, and he has talked to my neighbor about coming up here, and he's 83 years old, and he don't wanna go against Mr. Kennedy. So this is what we have.
Well, at this point...
It's your people.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry.
In your district. Well, can I ask a question, and we appreciate your feedback, and we understand what you're going through. My question is a little more big picture. I'm looking at a Google view of this particular property, and I guess I'm trying to figure out why we have a church in that property anyway. What's the parking regulation for something like that? Because I'm looking at this piece of property, and there can't be but 10, ma'am, I'm sorry. There can't be but 10 or 11 spots, so I'm wondering how this became a church in the first place. Don't we have some?
That's what we were wondering, because you see, the city has given them permission to do this. Besides, we got a police officer that's in there every Sunday morning for 4 hours directing traffic.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get you the city manager, Frank, can you address that, or? I mean, I realize it's commercial property and churches can go into commercial property, but you still gotta have some kind of a parking situation, and, you know, you're looking at this, I was surprised it became a church, because the parking in that particular area is
What you have is a potentially dangerous situation. I counted 20 trucks coming out of there. I'm talking about log trucks, lumber
They
trucks.
need a Wednesday night, remember?
Yes.
And the concrete trucks come through there.
Well, there's enough traffic on Sundays that they do have a policeman that's there. That is correct. To direct traffic when they leave on Sundays, because I've driven by that and seen that.
He's there from,
8 o'clock in the morning to
no, that 9:30 to 12 o'clock. And you can leave at 1 o'clock now. They're back there at agreed to so from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night.
Ma'am, may I ask what you're looking for us to do?
I'm sorry?
What are you looking for us to do?
I want some help to get it right.
Okay.
Property owner, we need to look at maybe making the property owner more responsible, you know? Or the city looking at the parking situation to see how dangerous it is, you know, potentially that's.
He just wants some white, that's back there.
And we can't stand this music, I mean, we can't live like this, you know, they refuse to turn it down, you know.
The more you say to them, the more they turn it on. The band members have said, it don't matter who's across the street, we're not gonna stop paying because two people are on the other side, and the other one says you can call the police, people all you want to.
I talked to the neighbors, I had one here tonight, Scott, you need to say that, he's next to the traffic situation because he lives there.
Well, I mean, we've got a couple of different situations, and I don't want us to lose sight of that. We have a potential traffic issue.
Why?
Is it appropriate to have that business in there with the traffic? And then there's a noise issue. And so, when we don't,
The only thing we can say is relocate the church, you know, because of the attitude they've taken and the position that the owner
They did that.
and they have taken with us, you know, it's the only thing I'm going to do.
No respect for any of the neighbors. I mean, you know, they just turn it up. I mean, the Sunday morning, the first Sunday morning, they had the snare drum so,
Got the other business.
they had the snare drums were so loud they were waking up children.
Yeah,
That's what my fault was.
anyway.
I'm sorry. Please don't take that.
Well, we'd like to discuss it a little bit. Would you mind, do we do that for a
I
minute?
don't mind at all.
So, let's go back to the church. How did this become a church in the first place when there's not a whole lot of parking?
It's pretty well true, most of the churches they expand beyond whatever parking they have. I've talked to a couple of these property owners in the area, and the church basically has permission to use their parking lots. But that's true, most of the churches are that. And most churches are in residential areas, not necessarily commercial areas. And, but like I said, that's planned. And if where the parking is available, but parking permission.
Businesses across the street on Zebra,
Right.
they're parking in the center, Fairview Recreation Center, walking to the church. And both sides of Stillwell Street, which is Mayor Street, property.
Wendell, we need to look at the Stillwell issue, because I know that the Howards, because of the rules we have about the Howards not being able to go on Park and Brandon, except
Right.
at certain hours, we need to figure out what,
And
there's no way to have, you couldn't have two-way traffic on Stillwell, so what?
I tell you something else, my
No, what I
grandson,
mean is, there's no way.
my grandson coming in.
Hold on, let's try to figure something things out. So, but what I'm saying is that I've been down on Stillwell, and with the cars, with the trucks, which we're okay, we're not changing the idea to let parking Brandon become the drive during Sundays and Saturdays. So, that's an issue, that's clearly an issue, it's something we get by a lot of trucks.
Not so much on Sundays, because they don't ship lumber on Sundays, but still.
No, those trucks come through on Sundays.
And then in the summertime like this, they have a chip truck also.
The Howard trucks are moving, I don't want to say 24 hours a day, but it's staying.
they move, yeah. They're going in and out there all the time, so that, Councilman Brent's right, that's an issue.
Can we address that as no parking? What would you suggest?
I'd rather just us sitting down maybe with engineering and the Howards and just see what we come up with. I'm sure they'd be more than willing to look at whatever we would need to. They've always been very open to the city.
Well, I'm not saying the Howards, I'm thinking more of the trash and church.
That's right, they're the ones that are blocking the street.
That's right.
That's the issue.
And the next thing is, once they don't park on Stillwell, they're gonna go down to College and Donaldson and park on that, and we can address that maybe.
I talked to some of the other neighbors, they're basically parking in the neighbor's yard, and they're on the side.
All right, so Wendell was saying that if it's posted, that you can't park, and that's something we can address, so we can address the parking. Now, the noise, it's my understanding that they've had a sound engineer look into noise, and you guys will work on that, you want to
want to share a little bit of that, Wendell? Is that Ms. Dale mentioned that Captain Tom Woodruff's been, how you got that seat? Captain Tom Woodruff's been working really close with Ms. Dale and the church. And I just got received a text from him asking him the last follow-up meeting I had with him was, Tom said he contacted Alvin, our city attorney, and you guys about setting up a meeting between you, the church, and the city as far as PD is concerned to try to mitigate the problem. And
The Church of Savannah.
well, the issue is that they're asking for that meeting. You guys want a meeting? Because I was told they didn't want a meeting.
I want to be gone.
Okay, we'll set up a meeting, we'll try to mitigate the problem. They put in, I'll be glad to give you come to that meeting with
The
us.
city attorney, Tom Woodrum told us that he would meet with us with the city attorney.
That's right, that's
But
what
he
he
said,
and the church.
then he said that we had to pursue everything we go to do and we couldn't get it done. That's all I
That's the
said.
reason we're here today.
We're waiting on you
We
guys.
didn't meet with the church down there.
Well, what I'm hearing is, Mr. Turner, you're saying that you are willing to facilitate this meeting? Is that what I'm hearing
The
you
church is
say?
very, now, the church has done a lot of things too. I know there's an issue with noise. There's an issue with noise. A lot of different places you guys have had issues with noise with. That's okay. That's what we deal with problems every day. And we've mitigated a lot of the issues. The church is really close to your house, and that's a problem. So what do? Do you get the church out? Do you try to mitigate the sound problem? I think you try to mitigate the sound problem first, and you go from there. But the churches, they put in a white noise system. That's something brand new they just installed.
Well, it sounds like a big,
It's a white noise system.
it sounds like a big heater going, like a big huge heater going in our yard, and that's an issue too.
Well, I think I'm going to go back to, because we do need to move down the agenda, but I'm going to go back and ask Mr. Turner if you will facilitate that meeting and get up with Councilman Britt. I think you said that you wanted to be there, and let's see if we can't work towards a solution there.
Sure.
Within the confines of what we can do as a city.
We have to put some help, because we didn't think our neighborhood could be impacted like this.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's start there, and I will stay in contact with Councilman Britt, it's his district, and he will lead the city from that standpoint, and see after that meeting what can be done. And we will look at the parking issue, okay? Thank you. And also, Will, do you know when the policeman goes over there on Sundays?
Off duty.
It's off duty?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working in high school.
Can we remind them of the 9 o'clock rule? Okay.
There's a lot of, the issue is, this is a place of worship, and you got some constitutional issues there. That, you've got a really old, antiquated ordinance that's probably needs to be updated.
But they have the right to free speech and to worship, but you don't have the right to worship super loud.
Well, no, I'm not saying, I'm just talking about the way you regulate it, I think you need.
The churches have a really, not that it's a problem, it's the noise is the biggest problem.
Okay, Ms. Steele, so Wendell, you're going to facilitate that and let us know. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you all. Our next item is item B, Mr. Thomas Ford with Gateway Development. Are you here, sir? Okay. You come tell us what you have this time.
Mayor, council, thank you for letting me come back, and neighbors. After the last meeting we had and all the, I guess, negative information that I had received, we went back to the drawing board and changed our proposal. And our proposal now is to do an elderly, 55-year and over, one-story, 6-foot building, just like the Wall Point, which is right around the corner. In the site plan, I don't know if you were able, Randy, to get it out to some of the neighbors and stuff, or how about any, y'all have any? No. Did y'all want one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you mind?
No.
That's good. That's good.
I do.
Yes, you have.
What's the extra road?
Pass around. And that's what it look like. Anybody else want one? Here, thank you, Right. Anyway, this project has been changed again to an elderly complex. It will have 1 to 2 bedrooms only. It will have 21, 22 the rents for that will be 1 bedroom would be 300 to 350 and a 2 bedroom 400 to 450. And they are 55 years old. So hopefully it will fit in the neighborhood because most of the units in that area are 1 story or maybe 1.5 story depending on what the condos are. The traffic issues, since this will be an elderly complex, you will have a lot less traffic. Most of the 2-bedroom units are normally 1 person rented.
I just have to say one thing, Mr. Warren, when you say 55 is elderly, I'm going to take a little exception with that. You keep tossing out 55 is elderly out there, so just, Frank is offended.
You get 10% discount on that.
Go ahead, you were talking about, I hated to interrupt, but I said, if I want to hear elderly one more time.
And of course, the other thing it does, eliminates many of the parking spaces and cars of payments. So hopefully this gets a little bit more in what you and the neighbors already have in that neighborhood. Aware of that.
Do you have any questions? How many folks, I didn't count the bedrooms, will be living here?
You have 22 twos, but about 70% of those are normally 1 person. Most of the time you have the widows, and then you have, sometimes you have husband and wife.
Is there a maximum occupancy per unit?
Yes, the 2 husband and wife, there are no children. You cannot have children.
Okay.
You can't have people living there with you.
You can't have.
How do you police that?
No.
How do you police that?
Well, every person, the management company, everyone that lives there has to be interviewed and find out who they are.
No. What I'm saying is, after all that, and because here are some concerns that some of the residents living around the area had. One, who is going to guarantee the individuals living in the units are of required age? And you can answer these as you feel.
Okay, the management company, number one, the management company has to, because that is the requirement by the state.
So that they have permission to go in and look and see who's visiting,
And
staying?
we go in every month, and we also every year get their tax returns, and they recertify, they sign affidavits saying that this is how much they make, this is what they do. You're talking about the tenants.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, and just throwing this out there. How do you police, you have someone with 2 bedrooms, how do you police someone over 55 years of age, having a daughter, a son, someone else come in and live with them of a younger age or multiple? How do you police that?
Well, because a manager's there, and a manager's there every week, and if a person's there, then they cannot live there. They have to be the 55 and over.
Okay, but he or she's not going to police that every single minute of every single day.
Well, no, I mean, that'd be like you going to visit your grandmother and you spending the night there.
Correct.
You can spend the night.
Correct.
There's nothing illegal about spending the night with your grandmother.
That's it.
But you can't live there. That's different.
Gotcha. The second story units are going to be difficult because of elderly individuals not wanting to climb the stairs.
Second story, there are no second story.
There are no second story.
All one story.
Okay, all right, scratch that. The age and income restrictions, how are you going to make sure that this stays at occupancy and you don't have empty units?
Just like any apartment complex, we advertise, we go out and find people that live there. We do this for a living. I mean, that's standard.
How did you identify Statesboro?
Hulu, we had 2 projects in Hulu, and we got arm length of waiting list for people to live in elderly units, apartment units with affordable units, and that's the way it is all over the country.
And where does this arm list of waiting list come from? Or where do those people live?
Where do
In other words, is there an arm's length where the Statesboro trying to get into Pooler? Or there are plenty of people in Pooler?
I don't have a waiting list for Statesboro, no. I have
You got
a
one
waiting
Pooler?
list for Pooler.
And what I'm getting at is if you build this here, what's to say those people from Pooler don't come to Statesboro? And, yeah, I understand that that's fine, they have a place to live, but at the same time, we're having struggles with attracting certain types of businesses, certain types of retail, because of our income mix. And if we're attracting low-income people to town to live in these developments, we're putting additional burdens on our citizens. And it makes it more difficult to attract these types of projects. I mean, do we not have problems with it? Yeah. I mean, and the reason I bring this up is because...
Your town is against the low-income people.
No, what I'm saying is that when Grace Crossing came to town, for example, I talked to the manager there.
This is a different problem.
It's a 55 and older property. Grace Crossing is a 55 and older property.
Okay.
So it's exactly the same, as a matter of fact. And those folks, the management person I talked to said she got calls from Colorado and North Carolina and all. And what I'm getting at is that brings low-income folks here and it drags down our per capita income. It drags down our household income. And when we're trying to attract businesses and those types of things, yes, we have an additional population, but we have more low income, which creates additional problems. It's great for CDBG grants, but not necessarily for attracting business and retail. So, I mean, and I know we talk, and this is the feedback I'm getting from constituents in my district.
Councilman Lewis.
Grace Crossing, I can understand where they're coming from. Grace Crossing, I go there and it's not a problem. Where we have poor, it's not a problem. But we need to understand one thing, it's more poor people than the rich, okay? And we go tell who can come in, who can't come in, there's the problem right there. You got American people, they got the right to try to have a place to live, not because who we want to come in, must come in here. I mean, let's just state the facts. I mean, it's more poor people than it is rich. I mean, they must have a place to stay, gentlemen. I mean, if they call from Colorado, fine, they come in over here, we should even accommodate these folks. We should pick who we want to accommodate. That's my problem. Grace Crossing is in my district. It's wonderful up there.
Well, point out is as well.
And it's nice around, I like to that. And I don't see what he's asking is no different.
I think the bigger question here is, does that development need to be where it's being proposed to be? Is that, I mean, we all agree that that is an issue to be discussed.
The first thing, this property is zoned properly for whatever I have designed, even the family home was. And so this is even more within that zone. I am not asking you for a letter of support or a resolution. I do not want to even ask you for that. If you want to send a letter saying that we don't want any more poor people in our town, I'll be happy to send that letter to the state.
Now, I would be careful with what you just said, but please continue.
Okay? So, anyway, I'm not asking for y'all to send resolutions or anything like that for us.
So, I guess I'm asking, what are you asking today?
I can't even give a presentation to tell you what we were going to propose to do now. Because I listened to you, and what I heard at the last time from the neighbors and from you is that you wanted lower, smaller units. You wanted less traffic. And those were the main things.
And I'll be honest with you, I sent the thing you sent me in the email, I sent it to key people in my district. I put it on my Facebook page and made it available to anybody who wanted to look at it. And the vast overwhelming, I thought it was going to be something that probably would have been accepted. The neighbors in that particular community feel like that particular area has enough low-income housing as it is. And I think there's pretty good evidence that the more condensed and the more concentrated you put low-income developments, the higher crime rates end up being in those particular areas. And that's what they're concerned about. They're concerned about property values, they're concerned about traffic, and they're concerned about a neighborhood that's on the rise, and that this may still that or make it worse. I mean, we have a lot of low-income housing within a half a mile of that piece of property, and people are concerned about adding yet another one. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yes.
Did somebody from the neighborhood want to come up and speak and ask questions? I mean, you're certainly welcome to do that.
And I don't want to read this whole thing, it's a 2-page letter, I know Travis will read part of it, but I would like to, Ms. Sue, I'll give this to you, I would like it entered as part of the record. And there's a key kind of sentence in here, it says, any type of development should not occur in the city just because it meets the zoning code. The development should be built because it improves the neighborhood and Statesboro as a whole. In their opinion, the development on Lesser Road proposed by Gateway Development Corporation will not benefit the neighborhood or the city. That was kind of the summation.
Do I have, we'll move to item number 18? Nope. Well, somebody. Go ahead.
I'm Phil Stevens. I live in Western Road on Pakistan area. The apartment that I'm in, I've been there for 29 years. Prior to that, I lived in Inglewood, which is where the Western Road condominiums are. So I've been there for like 40 years. Obviously, I've seen a lot of changes. My biggest concern, not low income. There's probably 4 or 5 people that I know that live down the street that walk, and I think that's great. I really do. They're older people. I'm getting there myself, but I think it's great because it sort of keeps them safe, so to speak. I think it's well protected. The ones that I know there are very comfortable. Okay. My biggest thing is, like right now, when I try to back out of my driveway in the morning, it takes me about 10 minutes sometimes. Just back out of my driveway. Because all of the traffic that is going to the school, you got all those kids that are there at that school, you've got football games, the cars are parked sometimes all the way to my apartment, which is the fourth one past the high school. We even have a church there at the high school. Sunday mornings, I go to look at the church, so I turn down Jonesville Road. I don't have to get caught up in the traffic there at the high school. Those cars are everywhere. I do get caught up with the traffic, of course, coming back from church because I come back a different way. To put more units there will create, my biggest thing is the traffic. You're going to have more people backing out or coming out on Lester Road. I mean, 50 to 100 cars more that you're going to have coming out on the Lester Road. And there's enough traffic as it is coming out. We have people in here and scooters that come down Lester Road. I know that y'all are planning on putting a sidewalk, on one side. Hopefully it's not in my front yard. But, that's going to help with the people who come along in the scooters. But then when you got even more traffic, that's more of a danger. And these people that are 55 and older, and way past that, it's going to be more difficult for them to even come out of their driveways, because they're just adding more and more and more and more traffic. So that's my biggest concern, not the low income. I don't want to look at it as low income, as just people that need something they can handle.
Yeah, it's more fixed income.
Like fixed income rather than that. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins.
My name is Paul Rodell. I live at 338 Greenberg Circle in the
And I thank you, Phil, for introducing a letter into the, I believe we all got it, but I just wanted to talk about one thing here. It's the fourth from the last line. It's on the second page. It says the stigmatism associated with low-income/subsidized housing will hinder home sales and a housing market that continues to struggle. That is, to some extent, speculative. I realize that. But I am currently a renter, and I was going to purchase the unit that I'm in. And I was going to do that by Christmas time, then I had to go out of town for an extended period, and I got all caught up in this semester and something. Now that the summer is here, I think, oh, fine, I can get down to this mortgage. I might have to wait to see what happens. My name is Russ Stewart. My home services we gave a small mortgage to my son.
Mr. Dooley, do you have an address?
My son lives on 910, Circle, which comes right up to the corner. And I went to walk around a lot 2 hours ago. So I have one specific comment. Besides the fact that I like the logic that there's no fun development, but safe development. And I have heard of several other restaurants that has a busy about having to based on average income in the community. So that's the reality that's a constraint for some businesses. But my succinct comment is that of these 7 clusters of buildings, number 4 is an alt-only one that would affect Inglewood. And Inglewood, if you're about time in the recession, is now coming back. It looks good. You drive through left condos and see apartments in there. So we did end up arriving at some sort of compromise with the builder. I think eliminating building 4 there would get rid of most of the detrimental impact as far as visual impact and people having their backyards occupied as it were.
No, I'll be honest, knowing some of the folks on Lantana Circle, I don't think that's much as big of an issue as some of the other things. But I appreciate your comment.
I'm sorry, what?
I just said I don't think the sightline is a top issue.
It's from what I saw walking around, they're pretty much into their backyards here at the corner there.
Oh, it's right up on the property.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do we have any more public comment? Yeah, I take it at this point, Mr. Ward, you're actually not asking us for anything at this point, is that correct? And I do appreciate you coming back. I do. I appreciate you coming up here and explaining it. And anytime a project gets built in an established neighborhood, people are going to have opinions that are homeowners there, etc. So I certainly hope that you don't leave today thinking that our city council has anything against folks of West Means. I would certainly hope that you would not leave here today thinking that. Did you want to?
I just wanted to say, and unlike many developers, he took the time to reach out to me, and I don't know if he contacted any of the councilmen. So, there's a lot of developments that come to town, and they don't even bother to contact one of us. So we do appreciate your willingness to do that. So, the citizens decide what the citizens decide, So.
And I want to ask Mandy before we conclude with this item, where does this project stand with your department?
We have not yet received a building permit application for this.
Okay.
But that work we did, it will be permitted as well. Because we don't have to, it's on the road, that's correct.
I can't hear you. Can you speak up, Mandy?
If a building permit application is received for this project, it is my expectation that that application will be able to meet all development requirements of the city of Statesboro, and a permit will be issued based on that.
And so at that point, if Mr. Ward would like us to issue that letter, he would come back and the council would take a vote at that point, if you would like to have that issue. Okay. So that's where we stand right now? Correct. Okay, does anybody have any other questions on this particular item? In that case, do I have a motion to enter into an executive session by anybody on council?
So moved.
Second.
Do we have anything to, I know this is a consideration, do we actually have some things to discuss?
Yes.
Right?
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Two.
Because I know this has been put on the agenda kind of permanently, so
Mayor, that's one thing.
then I'll second.
Okay,
That's it, over.
all right, all in favor?
All right.
All right, we'll enter into executive session for excuses.
I knew you wouldn't
First, I gotta turn this off. Then I come back and turn it back on. Yes.
Say it again. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. We're coming back to order out of executive session on personnel matters in which no action was taken. Do I have a motion from City Council to adjourn our meeting?
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Let's go.
The,